So yes, a lot of you guys, right, you should be able to check and, you know, clarify if your payment method has been paused, which means that, you won't be charged going forward, right? If that hasn't happened and you haven't been charged extra, don't worry, right? You'll be taken care of. So that's been the mission, right, for the past weeks to, verify everyone. Apparently, right, there was like a few people here which we, caught on to that were actually, leakers, which we actually found during this verification process. How am I? I am feeling quite better, right? As you guys know, it's, throughout this entire year, it's very rare to find a week when I'm not as active. You can see that I'm not as active on Twitter, I'm not as active on Instagram or here, but we're still here and we're still going to be, doing what we do. So yes, if no one has any questions, we will get into the charts. Right, how to correctly use precision swing points outside a time frame. You basically use it the way how you use a SMT or a sequential SMT, right? If it's higher time frame, you will look for a lower time frame sequential SMT and vice versa, right? If you have a problem with that, you just have not been back tested enough. If you're having issues reading the current price action, that's okay. It's December, right? It's December 13th, right? We're almost at the midpoint of December, right? Which means what? We're almost at, the contract expiry date while we're in December, which makes this even more, low probability. Prices at what all-time highs right now, right? The market is out of sync. You can see, right? There are specific time windows that you can expect precision swing points to form. Yes, and there's a way which you can correlate the openings of different quarters in relations to lower time frame sequence SMT as well. For example, and we'll just be touching upon this right now because I require clean live monkey conditions, whereas I can show you the move before it happens. And when it happens, then your reticular activating system will be able to pick up the movements, which will be forming after you've seen that one happen live, right? So in my opinion, it makes no sense to talk about price action when there's no price action to talk about, right? Previous ones that movements and models that we have seen occurring over and over and over, yes, it's okay to talk about that. So yes, you guys can see that this is the reason why I opted out this week. Well, also I wasn't feeling that well, but yeah, if price action was, clean and I wasn't feeling well, then they wouldn't stop me from doing what I do. All right, so Monday we had no news. Tuesday we had no news. Bear in mind that it is December, right? And people say, why you don't trade December? Because December lacks volatility, right? It lacks clarity as well. So why would I, go into a condition that I know will be against me? Makes no sense, right? If, we have something clean, which will rarely occur, at these times of the year, right? First of all, next week is contract expiry date, is the contract expiry date, right? Next week. Every time, it doesn't matter which, quarter of the year in when the contract expires, like the last few weeks before, last 2 weeks before that will be low probability. There'll be times when you'll see the Great British Pound and the dollar moving in the same direction, which is something that you could see happening, right? You see euro, the dollar moving in the same direction. You see the futures triad, futures market triad, the S&P 500, the Dow, they just decoupling completely, right? Signs of reversals, right? Signs of, clear price action to come, but it's not clear yet until after contract expiry. And after contract expiry, what do you have? You have Christmas. You have Christmas Eve. You have all of, those days, holidays, bank closures, right? Until the new year. So it makes no sense to stress yourself now, right? You had the whole year to stress yourself. You had the whole year to be digging into the charts, and you have the whole year next year to dig into the charts as well. Now you should prioritize one thing. If you did not meet the level or get to where you wanted to get this year, then you have next year, because this year is basically over, right? Focus on your psychology. Get a model back test, right? And just try to spend some time with other family. If you celebrate Christmas, if you don't, you can still spend time with your family and stuff like that, because that's important. So yes, looking at the chart right now, you can see that we have the original layout that we usually follow, right? So we're at the end of this contract. You can see right here, contract expiry date next week, Friday, right? So the next candle right here will be, since it's the week of this contract expiration, it will be low probability, right? Will be. You can see that we're at all-time highs for everything here, right? The Dow, you can see the Dow is, taking its time, doing whatever it usually does. And you need to understand that the Dow, right, whenever you see this happens, right, you see the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, the Dow doing, completely different things. Once you have the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, being normal, expect them to follow the Dow, right? Whenever the real volatility is injected into the marketplace. We had a lot of grind right here, right? But we did expect higher prices, and it's very hard to remember this because, we've just been having choppy price action, but we did see that price would be reaching for this high. We did see that price would be continuing higher, right? But we saw no sign of reversal as yet because there was no sequential SMT, right? It's as simple as that. Here as well, you can see at this point, we expected higher prices, right? We did get that, right? But now that we did get this, and the next 5 daily candles will be formed within next week of the contract expiry week, right? We could expect that week to be accumulation, and then afterwards, whenever we have a high impact news event, we can expect manipulation and a move lower, right? So, right, just so everyone understands, there's liquidity below this low. Whenever I show you that there's liquidity below the low, I expect that low to be drawn to whenever we have proper manipulation, right? Simple as that. Lows are here, right? And remember, nothing just goes up forever. I'm not bullish. It's not that I'm bullish or bearish or anything like that. I'm just following logic. As long as we see, right, sequential SMT between, the quarters of the monthly cycle, a precision swing point, which forms on the day that we have a high impact news event, it's over. Not like it's, everything is over. So that just means the trend is over until you have an correlation which opposes that direction. Right here, we can see that our logic, it's still in play. It's still working. It's, it's not the best, but it's still working, right? We have a correlation between Thursday and Friday right here, right? Precision swing point, price moves lower. Not, something that is, jaw dropping or anything. It's just showing you that you can still find the reversals, right? So here, price failed to break above this high, and it's as simple as that. And the best model, right, is what I would consider as the double threat, right? That occurs when you have sequential SMT and the precision swing point falling, on the same time interval. Like this, you have it falling on the 1 hour time frame, which is attached to the weekly cycle, right? So here, sequential SMT, precision swing point, right? And you can find all of that on the 1 hour time frame. You don't have to go down to the lower time frame. You don't have to go up to the higher time frame to see anything. You have two quick correlations forming here, right? With that being said, the next candle, you can expect expansion, or while, your next candle, you can drop down to a lower time frame, make your stop smaller if that's something that you like to do. You aim for the opposing liquidity pool, right? And whichever one is hit first. So like here, this one is hit first. This one isn't hit us yet, right? You just be out. You're not expecting a home run or anything like that, but you'll just be out, right? Because usually, right, after this happens, you have price, do what it's doing here. It consolidates a bit, and that's exactly what happened in this candle right here, right? Here, right, you can see we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? It's, it's been bullish. It still is, right? Until you get a proper correlation, right? And, a proper shift in market structure, right? These highs, right? And this isn't something that, I would be betting my capital on or anything like that, right? Even though I got in, really lower, but I got out too early, like way earlier than this, like what we were aiming for, 60 something thousand. I remember that's what our aim was, but we have price expanded way above that, which is okay. Price will fall again. We'll, get back in sync again. It's nothing to worry about. Moves always happen. They will always happen. You'll see crazy stuff, happen, just like how we saw oil went negative, a few years ago. Those things are not going to end, right? So yes, the highs, right? Price should accomplish these highs. Here is, pretty obvious, right? Until the sentiment in the market has changed. So yes, we will be back next week, on time next week for sure, right? This week I wasn't feeling well. I am pretty sure that my assistant made it clear. Congratulations on, everyone that's still passing their funding challenges within these conditions, right? It's, it's amazing to see. You really have to be locked in these conditions, right? You can't be, focusing on the higher time frame in these conditions because price is in, a phase of accumulation, right? That's what it is. So you have to be using the lower time frame. You have to be using 5-minute precision swing points, right? 90-minute cycle sequence SMT. That's what it takes now, right? If you're a person that, you like swing trading, it's going to be difficult for you, right? Because of these conditions. When we get closer to the end of the year, what's the beeping sound? Sorry about that. When we get closer to the end of the year, you have to use those lower time frame cycles, right? During the second quarter, third quarter of the year, you'll find swing trades. After that, it's going to be hard. So I hope that you found this useful. In my DMs, I'm still replying to you guys, and making sure that everything is in order for next year. With that being said, we'll talk next week again. You'll get the date posted before the end of Sunday.